Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name's Ash, but you can call me Hoopy, and this is the Slow Challenge. I just want to quickly say that my hair's a bit wild today. In real life it's looking wild good. In the camera it might look wild messy, but I think it's still wild good. I just can't tell. Just a little bit of context. Last week I announced the first bingo board and mentioned there's another one on the way, and here it is. A quick overview of the challenge is there are a bunch of prompts and you must get whatever media you consume to encapsulate that prompt as much as possible, whether it's in the title or on the cover, a character name, or a significant plot point. As examples of a significant plot point, I'd say the meet cute in a romance is significant, even if the thing related to the prompt never appears again. The railway station in Chronicles of Narnia Prince Caspian, as I mentioned last time, is a significant plot point. It could also simply be something iconic about the media. Say there's a meme based on the scene and the meme covers the prompt. It counts. You can increase the difficulty for yourself by making it so that all the squares within a prompt have to be on the title or on the cover or whatever you wish. Now, as I've mentioned, this is the second bingo board. They're designed so that you can do one, then the other, or you can do them alongside each other, which is what I've chosen. It's also designed that you can choose to do all one piece of media or mix and match. I personally am tracking books, TV shows, films, and games, as well as YouTube videos all separately. I'm not sure how long the YouTube videos one will last. I feel like it will probably take some time. You can also mix and match between bingo boards if you like, if the 18 prompts are too much for you, but you like some of each, that's absolutely fine. This does mean you'll have to edit the available Google Sheets or make your own Storygraph if that's how you'd like to track it. I promised in the last video that this one's going to be more fleshed out, and it definitely is. I once again thought of too many ideas for 9 bingo squares. What I did to combat this was to find one of each of the main pieces of media, book, TV show, film, and game, and the ones I struggled with or didn't manage got cut. So all of these prompts are definitely possible for these 4 categories of media. I'm going to show them on screen as I go through the prompts, and I've tried to include the whole spectrum of what counts. This means that there are definitely ones where the piece of media isn't the most fitting one I've found, but is on the lower end of the this counts spectrum. I haven't consumed all of these pieces of media before, so I could be wrong on some, but I'm pretty sure it's fine. Just a small disclaimer. That also means that these aren't recommendations, though there are some of my favourites on here. And remember, this challenge is meant to be slow. It's to give a little dopamine rush when you tick something off, or help you decide what to consume, or maybe just round out your media consumption. It's a bit of no pressure fun. Now onto the prompts. This is the main square, and within each square there are 6 or 9 prompts depending on whether you're doing the standard or expanded challenge. As with last time, if you're doing the standard but prefer some of the prompts for expanded, feel free to swap them out. I suggest you do this before you start the challenge, but you can do it whenever you wish. You're also welcome to do standard on some prompts and expanded on others. Let's get into it. We're starting off with places. This should be where they're set or a significant plot point. Bonus if it's in the title, but it's not necessary. I would also add that if you have some form of trauma linked to any of these, please feel free to swap them out with something that's not on the list, or even double up on one of the prompts. For standard edition, there is school, hospital, library/bookshop, park, lake, and new home. New home basically just means the main character's new home. Expanded adds alien planet, cafe/restaurant, and hotel. Second square is careers. Not an exhaustive list, there are definitely others that I felt like adding, but I've stuck to these. These should probably be the main character or a character the main character has a deep relationship with. Starts with teacher, which I'm aware could have a lot of overlap with the place school, but I feel like school could or even should be more focused on the students, and teachers more focused on, you guessed it, teachers. Then we have scientist, religious figure. This could be a rabbi, priest, the Pope, a nun, anything like that. Detective, this could be any type of detective, whether with police or a private investigator or anything like that. Criminal, and artist, whether a singer, writer, painter, or anything else, even something random. Expanded adds computer stuff, which I tried to reword so many times. I didn't want to put programmer or developer because I wanted to include people who work on hardware or anything like that. Also tradesperson, which are people like plumbers, electricians, carpenters, things people used to go to trade school for, and finally, cleaners. The third square is perhaps a little oddly named, but it's materials. This can be in the title, a character name, the material can play an important role in it, or it can just simply be a vibe. Hopefully the examples will help with this one. For standard, we start with glass, then move on to stone, sand, paper, fabric, which can be any type of fabric. It doesn't have to be the word fabric if you're going for the title approach, and metal with the same rules as fabric. You might notice something a little strange about one of these. I put Deadpool as a reference to Colossus, who is made of metal for the entirety of the film and plays a pretty important role in it, even if he's not the main character. As I said before, I'm trying to involve the whole spectrum of these examples. Not always the case, but I'm trying. Then Expanded adds bone, ice and wood, which again can be any kind of wood. This next one is more likely to be an important plot point rather than anything else. It's called events. These are mostly life events, and finding the TV show one for this was hard. It's probably far easier to do it via the episode method, which is either you just have to watch one episode for a prompt, or you have to find an episode for the prompt and just watch that series rather than the whole show. Some of the games are really hard too, actually. Standard Edition has wedding, funeral, pregnancy/new baby, graduation, holiday as in vacation, festival as in holiday. And yes, the two different meanings of the word holiday did prove it a little difficult. Expanded adds new job, retirement, which can be something set during someone's retirement or something about someone retiring, anything linked at all, and competition. And my camera's about to run out of battery, so I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. Hopefully the camera has enough charge now, and hopefully the frame isn't too off from where it was before, but if so, I apologise. After that, we have relationships. Ideally, the relationship should be the focus of the media, but just a strong one is good enough. Hello, you can sit on me. You can come sit on me. Come on in. Come on in. Standard is romantic, parent-child, siblings, friends, enemies/rivals, and an oddly worded one, self. That last one is sort of about self-discovery, and I've read several books like that, usually happening after a divorce or something happens, and they go on holiday and learn more about themselves and what they want from life. But it was a pretty difficult one to research to get an actual title. The one that came to my mind that I remember most, I couldn't remember the title of and could not find. It was even more difficult finding a TV show for this, and the one that I picked is definitely a stretch. Probably another one that's easier to do the episode method for. Expanded adds pet, grandparent, grandchild, and neighbour. For pet, it doesn't have to strictly be a pet, but a strong bond with an animal. Then we have an open one in multiple nouns. This one is specifically referring to the title. So long as there are two or more, it counts. I will say that sometimes nouns are almost used like adjectives, like in The Lion King. I think I'm personally going to try to avoid that, but they do still count. As always, standard requires 6 and expanded 9. The next one is also an open one. It is 6 or 9 that are older than you. Now, first, please don't be offended if the examples I've chosen aren't older than you. I just picked of the oldest ones I could quickly think of. I'm aware that if you're on the older end of the spectrum of internet users, that you might struggle to get access to media that is older than you. There is a lot of lost media in film and TV in particular. So if that is the case, then you may choose something that you were too young to watch when it came out. For example, if you were born in 1960, then you probably weren't watching Doctor Who when it came out 3 years later. Even if you were watching it when you were age 14, for example, the first series came out early enough that it's fine. For Square 8, we have a comeback. It's the return of this or that. For Standard, we have hero and villain, start and stop, and old and new. Expanded adds dream and nightmare, as well as the square this or that. As last time, that last square just means that the word this or the word that has to be in the title of the media. If you are doing both bingo boards, then I suggest that you do one as this and one as that, especially if you are doing both boards as one challenge rather than one then the other. Square 9 is also a returning square. It's the one with 2 options, or arguably 3. This is because I wanted to do a creature square, but I'm aware that not everyone enjoys fantasy, so I wanted to do a non-fantasy option as well. You can also choose to do both squares as I will. The creatures required for Standard Edition are Vampire/Shifter, which yes did appear in the last bingo board as separate squares, but they're in so much pieces of media that I did want to include them again. Robot/Android, if the media calls them something different, then that's fine too. Angel, Demon, Anthropomorphic Animal, you can choose how anthropomorphic they have to be. For me personally, it basically means that they have to wear clothes. But something like My Little Pony, they don't always wear clothes, but they act very human-like, so it's up to you. And finally, superpowered human. This could be from birth or after something happens to them. Expanded adds fairy, zombie, and elf. Remember, as always, if you're doing the standard version but you prefer the expanded version, you can swap them out. For the animals option, we have cat/dog, which yes, appeared in the last bingo board and has returned for the same reason as Vampire/Shifter did. Wolf, fox, a big animal such as a giraffe or elephant, and a small animal such as a mouse or a ladybird, as well as zodiac member. This can be a Western zodiac or Eastern zodiac member. Just make sure that it's an animal as traditionally known. I don't want someone picking an archer because humans are technically animals. An archer isn't the name of an animal. Expanded adds birds, amphibians, and monkey/apes. I say monkey/apes because I know some people get confused as to what is what. I'd probably also accept lemurs for the same reason. They are completely unrelated but look so much like monkeys. And that's all the squares. As last time, I have a Google Sheets and a Storygraph set up for these, as well as channels in my Discord server. All are linked below. How I've got the story challenges set up is that there is a challenge for the standard edition of the first bingo board, one for the standard edition of the second bingo board, and one for the standard edition of both bingo boards. For the creature/animal square, there is one in the main challenge and one in the bonus section. You can choose which one goes where, though they both say creature/animals with the option for both of them. I hope that makes sense. For the first bingo board, there's also only one season in the main challenge and the other seasons are in the bonus section. Then similarly, I also have the expanded edition for the first bingo card, the expanded edition for the second bingo card, and the expanded edition for both together. For the expanded edition, I also have the creature/animals section set up in the same way, but also for the first bingo card and the both bingo card, I have the days of the week and months of the year in the bonus section. The Google Sheets works in a similar way where there is one for the first bingo card, one for the second bingo card, and one for both together. The links to all these things are down below as well as in the Google Sheets. To edit the sheets, you will have to save a copy to your account. You going? Bye! Thank you for watching. Please let me know if you're doing this, which version you'll be doing, and ask if you need help with any of it. If you want to, please like and subscribe, and maybe you'll see me next one. Till then, bye. No, don't eat that plastic.